You woke up 11 minutes ago, and you are still lying there. It is not laziness, it is a negotiation. The warm dark on one side, the cold day on the other, and a quiet voice asking for 5 more minutes. Everyone has heard that voice. The question is not whether you hear it. The question is who decides, you or the voice. Here is the truth almost no one tells you. You are not going to feel ready, not today, probably not tomorrow. Readiness is not the thing that gets you out of bed. A decision is. And the strange part is this. The distance between the life you have and the life you want is often hiding right here in a few cold minutes before the day has even begun. Almost 2,000 years ago, the most powerful man in the world had the exact same problem you had this morning. His name was Marcus Aurelius. He ruled Rome at the height of its power, and he spent his last years in a military camp on the cold northern frontier. There, by lamplight before dawn, he wrote private notes to himself, notes he never meant for anyone to read. One of them is the most honest thing ever written about getting out of bed. He wrote a private reminder to himself, and it runs more or less like this. When you rise unwillingly in the morning, hold this thought ready. I am getting up to do the work of a human being. Why should I be unhappy if I am going out to do the very thing I was made for? Or was I made for this, to lie under the warm blankets? And then, almost impatient with himself, he looks out at the waking world. The small plants, the birds, the ants, the spiders, the bees, each one already at work, each doing its small part to hold the world in order. And he asks the question that still lands 2,000 years later. Are you really less willing than an ant to do the work your own nature asks of you? Sit with that, the Emperor of Rome, talking himself out from under the covers, not with motivation, with identity. He does not say, I feel like rising. He says, this is what I am for. Notice what he is really attacking, not the comfort of the bed, the story you tell yourself inside it, the story that says, I will begin when I feel like it. He knew 2,000 years ago that the feeling was never going to come first. Then there is the cost of waiting, and for that we turn to another Roman. Seneca advised emperors and watched powerful men waste their lives on things that did not matter. He wrote one line that should be carved into every snooze button. Nothing, he said, is truly ours except time, not your money, not your status, not your reputation, only time. And then the warning, while we are postponing, life speeds by. So look at what the snooze button really is. It is not 9 more minutes of sleep. It is 9 more minutes of the only thing you actually own, handed quietly back to the part of you that wants to stay small. You do it once, and it is nothing. You do it every morning, and the mornings become months, and the months become the years you meant to use. This is the whole game, and it is simpler than the productivity industry wants you to believe. Motivation is a feeling, and feelings move like weather. They arrive, they leave, they cannot be scheduled. Discipline is a decision, and a decision holds even after the feeling is gone. Think of anyone you admire who does hard work well. The writer who sits down before the ideas arrive. The founder who makes the hard call before the data is complete. The athlete who trains in the rain, in the dark, when no one is watching and nothing feels good. None of them are waiting to feel ready. They have simply moved the decision earlier than the feeling. And here is what almost no one notices. The first decision of your day is not really about the day. It is practice. The moment you keep the promise to rise, you have already proven something to yourself before the sun is even up, that you are someone who keeps promises. You carry that proof into every harder decision that follows. When the first one and the next 10 come easier, lose it, and you spend the rest of the day quietly negotiating with yourself. You will rise easily on the mornings you feel strong. Anyone can do that. The disciplined hour is the one where you rise on the morning you feel nothing at all. The distance between the person who hits snooze and the person who gets up is not talent. It is not genetics. It is not some secret the successful were handed at birth. It is one decision made before the feeling arrives and then repeated until it stops being a decision and becomes a fact about who you are. Because that is what is actually being built here. You think you are building a morning. You are not. You are building a person. And that person is not decided in some grand moment later in life. That person is decided right now, in the cold, in the dark, in the few minutes you have been lying there negotiating. Every time you rise before you feel ready, you cast one vote for the person who acts. Every time you wait for the feeling, you cast one vote for the person who waits. The mornings are simply the ballot. So decide out loud if you have to. I will rise before I feel ready. I will not negotiate with the part of me that wants to stay warm. I decide who I am before the world decides for me. I will treat time as the only thing I truly own. I will not trade my life away 9 minutes at a time. I act first and let the feeling follow. I was made for the work, not for the blankets. I begin. That is the whole practice, not a perfect morning, not a feeling, a single, repeated decision made in the dark before you feel anything at all. If this gave you the push to rise today, stay with this channel. Every morning, one disciplined hour to begin, and every night, one to end. Begin disciplined, end reflective. Now take one breath and get up.